Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Going Beyond Your Comfort Zone, where we talk about your comfort zone, how you deal with change, how you recognize you resist change, and what we're creating for our future. Today, my guest is Gina Marie Leingang. I hope I pronounced that well. um, She's a long time hospitality sales and marketing a woman, which is, I mean, we have a hospitality career in common. Mine was not in sales and marketing. I studied hotel management and went into front office for a bit. So we have some common career experiences. Um, yeah, you live in the States, normally in Arizona. You're in Minnesota at the moment. I normally live in Amsterdam, but I'm in Morocco at the time. So we're in different places, but we're just going to have a great conversation here on this LinkedIn Live. Um, Gina, give a quick introduction about yourself, and we're very curious to know who you are.
Well, thank you so much for inviting me on the chat with you today. I am, like you said, an ex hospitality executive. I actually was a vice president of sales and marketing for the largest hotel management company in the world. And almost a year ago, I decided to jump in with both feet, follow my heart, and become an intuitive energy healer as it was part of my purpose. It's been something that I've known for a while, but it's scary. It's scary to leave your six-figure income. It's scary to leave your career that you've known pretty much your entire adult life. And it was just to the point where it was time to jump. And here we are almost a year later that I now, instead of doing sales and marketing for hospitality, I help people change their lives through energy healing and getting to know truly who you are.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit on how you came to energy healing, and maybe it's been with you all your life. It's a gift given to you. I don't know. I'm just curious how that came about for you.
Absolutely. And I think we are all intuitive. We all have intuitive gifts inside of us. I've now realized that I've had these gifts my entire life, but I've kind of put them away because it's not mainstream. Like when
No.
you think about mainstream, you think about you grow up and you go to college, you get a good job, you support your family, and these gifts started becoming stronger and stronger. And it was in 2020, I was in the peak of my hospitality career being vice president of sales. And it's so interesting because when you go through something that's not easy in your personal life, it really starts making you really see what you're really meant to be. And it was in 2020, my daughter, who was 13 at the time, had to go through her 15th surgery. And it was a very intense surgery where we actually had to live across the country, just her and I in a hotel room. And it was in that hotel room where those gifts were really coming front and center. And I got that pull in my heart that this needs to be a piece of my life. I need to help others. I need to be able to help myself, help my family, but even more so, help bring these energy tools mainstream because everything is just energy. It's not hippie, it's not woohooey, it's just we're all energy and let's create that so we can create those lives we've always wanted to live.
So when did you first realize that you had this gift?
It's so funny that you say that is I actually it was this last August. So my birthday's in August,
Mhm.
and I was actually looking for something. You know how we all have those memory boxes of stuff when we had when we were a kid? And I was looking through my memory box because I was looking for a couple of very specific photos that I wanted from myself as a kid. And in that memory box, I actually found a journal from when I was 16 years old. I don't remember this journal. I don't remember like writing it, but in that journal, I was having an intuitive conversation with myself. And
Yeah.
in that journal, I actually wrote, "You have healing gifts. You will
Uh-huh.
not understand this right now, but I promise you, you will understand it when you get older." And I
Uh-huh.
found that this last August, and that really brought it full circle to me of, wow, like I knew this back then. I just never really embodied it or captured it because you only know what you know.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And how did you start exploring the gift, if I may phrase it like that?
The first modality I actually learned was human design. So
Mhm.
human design is like the literal blueprint of your energy. So it's the energy that creates who you are the moment you come onto this earth. So the moment you're born, it's the energy you're born with. And it takes your birth date, your place of birth, and your time of birth and creates your profile of who you are. And inside of that profile, it teaches you your emotions, how you're designed emotionally, your biggest fears, your purpose. And it was in that hotel room where I actually learned of human design the first time. And I was
Mhm.
infatuated with it. There was something that called me to it. My daughter just went through this huge surgery, and I found this modality. And it was in that hotel room that I found out that her and I are designed differently emotionally and how
Mhm.
we process our emotions. And it was so life changing because she's 13 at the time. She's going through such a hard thing. I'm her mom. I'm trying to support her through this. And I learned that just understanding her emotions and my emotions helped take a hard situation and make it a little bit easier. So from there, I was hooked and I'm like, okay, I need to start uncovering this stuff more.
I mean, do you it's I don't know if you believe in this or how you see this, but do you believe that your daughter like came into your life to teach you a lesson? Or
Yes.
yeah? And
100%. And even more so both my children
oh,
because
yeah.
it was in that hotel room where I learned about our emotions, but
Mhm.
I'm still working in hospitality. I'm still traveling, I'm on airplanes, I'm supporting my teams, and it was in that airplane where I actually had an intuitive download of I need to hone in on my healing gifts because my son needs it. My son was it has ADHD, he has some learning disabilities, and it was this download that came in saying your kids were given to you for a reason. Like you're meant to help them. You've got to find the courage inside yourself. You've got to find it inside yourself so you can help your children because they chose you to be your mom.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, you had this amazing, or well, I don't know, you decide whether it was an amazing career or not, but you had a great position, let's put it like that. And uh, stepping away from that, stepping into something, well, people might think wishy-washy or whatever you want to call it. That is also like, I mean, was that like, did you have to think about that for a long time, or was that something that was in the making for years? For example, I left my trading career, but it took me 3 years to let go of the status and the expectations and what people might think of me if I would leave that kind of stuff. And I didn't know what I was leaving it for, but I just needed to. I had the idea this needs to end, and I need to quit, and then the new thing will appear. I'm just wondering how that was for you, stepping into such a very different field of work, um, and how you dealt with how people might react to it.
It was scary.
Mhm.
Probably one of the scariest things I think I've ever done in my life. And similar to you, it wasn't It wasn't just like, okay, one day I decided to do this and I did it. It was years in the making to get myself to the point that I felt comfortable doing it. And I think one of the biggest things for me and where energy tools really helped was I had this limiting belief inside of myself that somebody else had to pay my paycheck, that there
Uh-huh.
was some person in some big, building that had this golden signature that gave me a paycheck that showed up in my bank account every 2 weeks. And I couldn't fathom being able to not have somebody give me my paycheck every 2 weeks. And it was scary because we all know money is livelihood. Money is what supports my family. I have a family, I have children. I need to make sure they're taken care of.
Mhm.
And that piece was so scary until I started working with my energy tools of realizing that money is just energy. Money is just energy. And when you're drawn to do something, when you're drawn of whatever your heart desires, what your purpose is in this world, you're going to naturally attract that money. And it was from taking that belief of scarcity that was actually so deep in my lineage, specifically on my dad's side of my family, releasing that of going, you know what? I can do this. I can help other people and I can still support my family. I can still live the life that I've created. But instead of somebody sending my paycheck, it's my clients. My clients come to me and it's an energy exchange. And that was mind blowing to me. And still, there's some days that I still like have to check myself of like, oh my gosh, is this really happening? Because it's a scary moment. We all have this. We just want to be safe. We want to feel safe, and financial security, let's be honest, is a piece of that.
Yeah, 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 and oh yeah, absolutely. But then at the at the same time, we we have this, let's say, commitment to create abundance or whatever, and whether that is like whatever level of financial security that is. But at the same time, we're just sabotaging that all the time. It's like, it's like you want to, as an amount, you want to make 10K a month, and then you're just working towards it, that it's not possible to make 10Ks a month, because it's just either you've never done it, or it's in a different field and people don't make that money in that kind of field, or you're too old or too like, then you just keep proving that you cannot do it, which is and of course that's the result that you'll get. You'll get exactly that thing that you're committed to.
Yep.
We mask our underlying commitments with, let's say, the right commitments. um, so yeah, so for me, when I left my trading career, it was long in the making. And then it was a Sunday evening, and a friend of mine, I was at a party, and a friend of mine said to me, "It's like, you've been telling this story for so long, when are you gonna do it?" And I was like, "You're right, I'm gonna do it tomorrow." And I did. Went into the office the next day and I resigned. I wonder how that went for you, because it's not, I mean, like, I did not plan to like resign in like 3 months or 6 months or
Mhm.
2 years, or it was just like I've been thinking about it for so long, and then bam, there was this moment and I just did it. Was there something similar for you? What's your story?
Oh, absolutely. So same as yours. It's like you think about it, you think about it. It's scary. We work on ourselves. We're trying to get the confidence to do it. But I think my moment is as it's my kids. So as I said, I have two kids. At the time last year when I made the decision, my son was a senior in high school and he's 18 and he's about to, you know, spread his wings and fly. He's about to
Mm,
create his story of, what he wants to make out of himself. And I've been struggling at work. It was emotion. It was just, I could feel that pull of, I loved my team so much. And that was the hardest thing for me was the people I worked with because I had such dedication to them and I wanted them to succeed and just that feeling. But I knew deep down it was no longer aligned. And I was having conversations at home about it. And my son was getting angry, and think he's 18, senior in high school. So he was getting angry and thinking that I was making a dumb choice, because we talk about good choices and we talk about
Mhm.
not so great choices. Because
Yeah.
when you have teens, and I'm talking to him, and he's telling me, he's like, "Mom, this is not a good choice." And I'm like, "Justin, I'm just, this is like, this is, you got to trust me here." And he goes, "Mom," he goes, "it's called a job. Jobs are meant to be miserable. You're supposed to be miserable at your job." And hearing my 18-year-old son say that, that was like, no, I don't want him to be in his 40s, having a family, thinking he has to be miserable in his job because that's, he has to support his family. I want him to be able to support his family doing what he wants to do, doing what he loves to do. And
Mhm.
it was him saying that. The next day I put my notice in, because I'm like, it was that kick in the butt that I kind of needed, of,
Uh-huh.
no, I need to show you that
Yeah.
you can make money, you can support your family, and you can do what your heart truly wants you to do.
Great, great story. Thank you for sharing that. I love it. Um, so, one of the other things that you, uh, what you were saying, and I started thinking about it, like, you need to have more confidence or more security or more stability before you can make a certain this choice or another choice. I'm just wondering, when you went into the office, did you like felt you had more confidence or more security or more stability or like more of something, more courage, more boldness, more less fear or whatever? Uh, did you or not really?
I think so, because it's like, it's, you ever hear like the mentality is like, practice what you preach.
Hmm.
Is like, in my role when I was in hospitality, I was a leader. I was a part of the executive team, and it was one of the my core duties of what I did was growing and mentoring individuals to become the best that they can be in their position. And I really gave, like, prided myself on doing that. It was that human interaction, that connection of helping individuals from a career standpoint, like, be in their position, but then just have that confidence just to just rock it and do it. And I always told my teams, when they were uncomfortable with something, I'm like, just think about this as your skinny branch. You're walking out in your skinny branch just like a bird, and a bird knows that that branch isn't going to break. So you have to have that confidence too, of going out in your skinny branch and knowing that your branch isn't going to break. And that clicked for me. I'm like, I preach this all the time. I have to live it. And even though it was so scary to make that decision, and it was so sad to leave my teams, I had to lead by example, because by me doing this, it gave me that confidence of saying, no, I'm not saying like you have to go and quit your job and go be whatever, an entrepreneur, because that's a life for some people. But what I am saying is, like, have the confidence to follow your heart, to do what your heart wants, to go after that job, to go after that promotion. And when that clicked for me, that was beautiful. I'm like, I've got to show that confidence, because people are watching you no matter what. They may not tell you, but they watch you. And that was just that feeling of overwhelming confidence really came over after I made the decision.
Yeah. While you were talking, and I was also reflecting on my story. I don't like. I don't think I had like a more like confidence or more courage or more security, let's say, like going into that decision or going into handing in my resignation. It was just more. Uh, I don't even know. It was just more. It was just like I needed to end it, and whatever was gonna come, I was. I had the confidence that I would could deal with it, but it was not like now my confidence bucket was instead of half full, completely full or something like that. It's not that I added some confidence and it's like, hey, I'm not like I can do anything. It was more um because that's what I see with a lot of people. It's like they are wanting to, or they're waiting for something to increase and then they'll do it. But like when you go down to your core, it's already there. um at least that's my idea about it.
I so agree with what you're saying, because and I also think confidence comes in ebbs and flows, because in that
Mhm.
moment, oh yeah, I felt confident. I just made a huge bold move, and you're going to feel that confidence. But then
Yes.
you're going to also feel that, oh my goodness, what did I just do?
Oh,
Like
yeah, yeah,
like you're
yeah.
going to feel the other side of it too, and it's finding the balance between the two. It's finding it, because I think we need the, oh my goodness, what did I do? Because now that fuels us to go and create that vision that we've always wanted, to go after whatever that next thing is. So I think it's honestly, I think it's a good thing. You don't want to be like fully confident 24 hours a day, because we're human. Like that's why we
No,
have the emotions of going ebbs and flows. Do we need those moments? Absolutely. But we have to experience the other side to really appreciate and know when we have that confidence inside of us of just going, this is the right decision. I am meant to do this.
yeah. So you were in your comfort zone in uh in your VP role. Uh and maybe that was the big comfort zone, a small comfort zone. I don't know. Like for some people that's very small, but that's not really what I wanted to ask. So is like, are you now moving to a different role where you might have it's there's you might be more comfortable with the job itself, but it comes with so many new things to discover, to set up, to create, to like, are you so how is that like how is did that feel comfortable or did that feel challenging, or I mean maybe it's still a bit uncomfortable. Where are you at?
I think it's all of it combined. Like there are certain things like I I am so thankful for all my years in the corporate world, in the hospitality industry, because it gave me the tools that I needed to be able to make that jump and become an entrepreneur. So from business standpoint to business standpoint, as you said, my background is sales and marketing. So those pieces, I know where my niches are. I know where my strengths are. I know how to use those skills inside of me. The intuitive healing, if I could just work with people all day, heal people, help that be that channel, that would just I would love that. Like that's the core being. That's what lights me up. The challenge piece was learning how to be an entrepreneur, learning how to run a business, because I knew how to be an executive within a business, but I didn't know how to run a business. So I think that was a big self realization check of knowing it's okay to ask for help,
Mhm.
because yes, I'm building this dream, I'm following my heart, my purpose, but I also need help of people that know how to do the stuff that I don't know how to do. Teach me. Like we are all students, and I literally hired a business coach to help teach me how to actually run a business, because I didn't know how. I didn't have those skills, and I found it. I found a way to get it. So in that aspect, I think it's some days I feel super comfortable. Some days I'm like, what am I doing?
Uh,
But again, that's human. That's like that
yeah.
beautiful, beautiful human piece of it is understanding the emotions that just flow through on both sides.
So how yeah, okay. So how do you recognize that you're actually too much in your comfort zone, and whether that is like in business or private or maybe even with your kids? Um, how do you recognize that for yourself?
I think it's being like stagnant, like that boring where life is too predictable. And it's
Mhm.
funny that I say that is because I'm not necessarily a creature of change. Like I am
Mhm.
one that likes I like having that safety net. So me making that jump is very much outside my comfort zone, but I knew it was right. But now I can kind of feel it of when you just kind of feel blah, when you just feel stagnant, that there's nothing that's lighting you up. Because so much that I've learned with being an intuitive energy healer is specifically the more you say yes to things that you're passionate about, that you want to do, the more you're able to give to others and to give to just making the world a better place. When
Mhm.
you're just giving your energy away and just doing things because you're told to or it's the right thing to do, even though if you're not aligned with it, it just drains you and you get into this place of stagnancy. And I think when you get into that place, for me, that's a telltale sign of, okay, something needs to change. Let's figure out what that is. What is the block? What is the belief? Because we're meant to enjoy this life. All of us, every single one of us, whatever you want to do, we're meant to enjoy it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I totally agree. So what is a comfort zone you are challenging right now for yourself?
Um, I think it's for me, it's fully embodying who I am.
Okay.
So one of my realizations was is when I was in the corporate world, I was so proud of my title. I was vice president of sales and marketing for the largest hotel management company in the world. That is a huge, amazing title, and I was
Yep.
proud of it.
Mhm.
Now I am an owner of my company that I have founded, Magic by Design HD, and I am an intuitive energy healer. But saying that piece, sometimes it's still like because energy is newer, even though it's been around forever, the mainstream collective doesn't necessarily understand it as much, but that's part of my purpose is to bring it in and just normalize it for everyone, like, having balance in our bodies, balance in our minds, balance in our spirit. But still saying that out loud, like that's definitely pushing me, and I'm proud of myself every time I introduce myself of, hey, this is me, and you know what, I'm an intuitive energy healer, and I'm really proud of it.
Yeah, the it's fun or funny. I mean, the first time I introduced myself as a coach, as a leadership coach or as a mindset coach, I'm like, it's like I hope no one hears it,
Yeah.
which is like it's like he's so yeah, it's so funny, and then also like how how that pattern keeps repeating itself. Right now, like one of the things I did this week was I signed up for um, a stand-up comedy course, and I'm like, I don't know. It's like, why do you think that's a good idea? What's why is why is something leading you there? It was. I know how I got the client of mine. He started talking about improv comedy, and I was like, oh, that's cool. I did some improv acting, and then I was like, improv comedy is good. Went on the website, and they were also doing like this discourse, and I'm like, that's the exciting course, but I was such a chicken, It took me well, it's not that long, but it took me what 2 months or so to sign up for it. Um, Going to acting classes took me 20 years, so there is progress, but like still saying that I'm gonna do that is like a little bit like, oh God, I hope no one hears, no one wants to come and just blah blah blah. But yeah, it's a cool thing, and I mean that's definitely something out of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so um, change. I mean, yeah, change is such a fascinating thing. We want it, and at the same time we don't want it. We say we would change, that needs to change, that needs to change. But if if others would change it for us, even if we want it, we're just going to resist it. So how do you recognize yourself resisting change?
It's when you start fighting yourself, and for me personally, it's like when I'm trying to control things,
Uh-huh.
that's usually my like go-to. And I had somebody tell me a long time ago is if it's out of your control, it's out of your mind. So as myself and probably a lot of viewers, humans, it's like my mind can just go, 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 go and make up so many different scenarios. And you try to control, like I try to control the outcome. And that's that's my telltale sign of, okay, I don't want something to change, or I do want something because I'm trying to control it. And then we're living too much in the future, or we're living too much in the past, like rethinking about how we got here. And that's my, like, just take a deep breath, come back into this present moment, and just, it's out of my control, release, just don't try to control it. And when I really give myself that pep talk, that helps me embrace the change.
Hmm.
Because change is scary, but what's scarier is staying in the same place and not changing and being stagnant and not being happy. Like that's way scarier to me than the scariness of not knowing what comes next. Like it's like kind of reframing your mentality of, what, that's exhilarating. Like I'm writing my next chapter. What is it going to be?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Do you think change is always good?
I think change is always needed.
Okay.
I think be we life gives us things that isn't necessarily easy. Like
Mhm.
it's not, but there's like we either have a lesson that we need to learn, or we there's just something there. So when we have things that change in our life, it's moving us out on that skinny branch. It's moving us to allow us to get out of that comfort zone. So change is needed, and I think the more we resist it, sometimes it's going to come in ways, then it's kind of like forces us into it, of like, it's like life is giving you these little ways of like, you need to change, like, here, try this. And if the more we resist it, then life's going to give us going, well, you know what, you're not getting these subtle thoughts, I'm going to hit you with this bam over here. And that's what like wakes us up. So I think it's more, again, we're all intuitive. It's being able to have the skills and the confidence to listen to ourselves, so when we change in baby steps, it doesn't feel as scary as when a change hits us out of the blue and we feel like we've been run over by a train.
Mhm. So if you had a magic wand that you could wake up tomorrow, and something would have changed for you, let's say personal or in your business,
Mhm.
uh, I mean, yeah, world peace would be amazing. But like let's keep it small in your
Mhm.
life. What would you like that change to be?
I think, and one of the things I do every year is I kind of like create a word that I want to embody.
Okay.
And I think that's my answer to your question is, if I could wake up and change something right here, right now, it would be to welcome in ease of just really living in this present moment and just having ease with everything. There's
Uh,
ease with the business, there's ease with the family, there's ease with my choices, and just having that ease of, even when life is a little rocky, just having the ease to get over the rocks. So it's a word I'm really embodying this year, and just having, again, it goes back to confidence of just knowing, just the ease that everything doesn't have to be hard. It's only hard when we make it hard.
yeah. I so agree with you, and then I could use some ease too. That would be that would be nice. Um, I yeah, it's like I don't know. It's like somehow we things are easy, but then we make it a struggle all the time. This is difficult, that's hard, this person is not doing this, that means that, blah 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 blah, and everything is like, it's just meaning making machines. I in this context, I saw I saw that you wrote a post on closing 2023 and creating 2024, which is an exercise I've been doing in the last couple of years as well, um, and which I find very powerful because like before I was always like creating the next year. I'm basically
Mhm.
like putting all the things that I didn't do in the year before in the next year, and then in the next year and the next year, which um, was. But when I started to like close the previous year, it's like, okay, that's in that year, and that's where it's gonna be. I did what I did. I didn't do what I didn't do, and that's it. And I don't need the things that I didn't do. I don't have to do them this year. I can choose, really powerfully choose to do them this year. And also the things that I did, I can, if they're not working, why continue them into the next year? um, so I was just wondering how you what's your take on that exercise?
I think it's, I'm going to throw a heavy word out there.
Oh, okay.
Uh, I think it's a way, it's closure,
Hmm.
but it's also saying goodbye to that previous version of ourselves. And it's allowing ourselves to grieve as well as to celebrate. So,
Hmm.
and that's the heavy word I was speaking to, is like the grief. And we are taught so much of, when we look at grief, we have grief because we somebody passed away, or we lost someone. But what we're not taught, or it's not widespread, is saying goodbye to previous versions of ourselves, saying goodbye to projects that weren't aligned, saying goodbye to the year so you can start fresh for the new year. Giving yourself, like, one of the things I love to do is, write everything down that I accomplished in 23, like the little things to the big things.
Yeah.
Then also looking at the things that I didn't, the things like the things I didn't do that maybe weren't no longer aligned with me, saying goodbye to those. And even more so, saying goodbye to me, that piece of me that was 2023. And it really came full circle to me, was I made this big jump. I made this big jump from being a hospitality executive to an intuitive energy healer, but I didn't give myself proper time to say goodbye to corporate executive Gina. And it followed me for quite some time until I grieved that, okay, that's not a piece of me anymore. And that's okay, because that piece of me was amazing and beautiful, and she served her purpose. Now it's time to say goodbye so I can fully embody and welcome in my Gina today. So I think giving ourselves that space to do so helps us set our future up, because we're not carrying that baggage from 23 into 24, for example.
Okay. So let's take it to 2024. What are you creating for 2024?
Oh, 2024, like, ease is my big one, but
Yeah.
it's just allowing in, like, creating my path of
Mm.
really not necessarily taking more risks, but allowing myself to be challenged,
Okay.
of going in, and I've already made the big jump. I did it. So now 2024 is about just living and embracing this beautiful life that I'm creating. Traveling more, and honestly, it's like, how can I make an impact? That's one of my big things this year, is how can I make an impact on the world, on my world.
Mhm.
And it's really finding those little things. So it's my 24 is a lot of little moments that's going to create a beautiful picture.
Okay. So when you look back at the end of 2024, you look back at 2024, you'd be like, this was ease. This was amazing. This was fun. This was
Yes.
challenging. Whatever, it's all, you don't know what curveballs life might throw you. Um, how would you want to look back on it?
I think with being proud
Hmm.
of that, everything, like it's all about doing it with intention, is everything that happened this year is my hope, is that I create it with intention, that I
Hmm.
followed my heart. I had so much of me inside of it. I had love. It was fueled by that love, and
Hmm.
just being so proud. And even the hard moments, because let's be honest, again, we're human. We're gonna have those moments that aren't easy, but it's the way we get through it, how we get through it with grace, how we get through it, and we're not beating ourselves up. It's allowing myself to get through those moments, and not only standing on the other side, but being even more just strong. It's that strength of who we are, and just embodying me. And then honestly, helping other people embody who they are and helping them live that life, because I want to live that life. I am living that life,
Hmm.
but I want to help others too, because there's no reason why any of us can't live that life that we're always imagined to do so.
So what can you help people with?
Pretty much anything. And I'll have a story. So one
Yeah.
of my newest stories was, I have a client, she worked with me earlier in 23, and she was just feeling blah. She was a corporate executive, she was a mom, she was just feeling blah. It's just life, like we all
Mhm.
feel it. And we worked together for 8 weeks. She learned her energy, she learned who she was, and we released that heaviness, that gunk that she's been just carrying. And at the end of the 8 weeks with working together, she felt good. Like she just felt like herself. But the magic is what happens after the 8 weeks, after working together. She released so much gunk, energetic gunk. Her dream job came to her. Like she didn't go out and apply for the job. It actually came to her. Um, she was offered the position, a huge bump in pay, huge bump in pay, huge benefits package, work from home. And it's literally, if she could imagine her dream job, that's what it was. And it all came to her. So when we release the gunk, how I see it is like when we clean out our closet, like, we have those clothes that we don't want anymore. We have those clothes that don't fit anymore.
Yeah.
When we clean them out, we're making room to welcome in the new stuff. That's what I do. I help you clean out your internal closet so you can make room for your dreams to come true. So whether it's corporate, you're wanting a promotion, you're wanting to change jobs, whether it's love, whether it's health, whether it's abundance, whether it's your relationships, let's release the gunk to welcome in what you desire. That's what I do.
And how for people that have no idea, how do you do that?
So my signature program is
Yeah.
Unlock Your Magic, and it's
Mm.
8 weeks long, where we work one to one that together. And first, we learn your energy, learn exactly who you are, learn your emotions, learn your fears, learn how to speak to yourself, because your energy can tell you all of that. So when you learn that, then we incorporate it into your everyday life. We actually start using the tools that make you you. And while we do so, we start releasing the energetic baggage. And that's the beauty of it. That's the energy healing piece of, you could be carrying baggage around from something when you were 10 years old. You could be carrying baggage around from your father, your grandfather, how many generations behind you. I come in, I can see the baggage, I identify the baggage, and I release it. We don't talk about it. We don't have to relive whatever it was. It's simply like, okay, well, this was kind of stagnant. Like you were angry when you were 10 years old. I'm just using that as an example. Okay, we
Yeah.
identified it. Let's release it. And through the 8 weeks, we're releasing all that baggage for the magic to happen. And we have a communication portal where we just communicate back and forth. And it all starts with subtle changes where at the end of the 8 weeks, you are literally a different person. You are more authentically you and living your life that way.
Is that, I mean, I'm just curious. Will I be laying on the sofa and just you do the work, or we'll talk, or what? How does it? How would that work?
Oh, absolutely. So we do it all. That's the beautiful thing about energy is it's energy is everywhere. So if we were in a session right now, we would just be on the phone
Yeah.
and say you're like, well, I want to welcome, I'm having an abundance block. I have some scarcity and I want to release it. So we're just going to play with that.
Yeah.
So we just talk and I will guide you into just a very short meditation of just to
Mhm.
calm your energy down. And then I ask your energy, what's the number one thing to be released in this present moment? And your energy will guide me. So, for example, your energy may say, is the number one block for your scarcity in this present moment is you're angry at 10 years old. So then I find it. I tell you, you had some anger at 10. You may know what it was, you may not. We release it together. So
Yeah.
I walk you through it. We just breathe and we release the anger and we fill it with a positive. So we release anger, we fill it with love, and then we do the next one and the next one and the next one. And the end of the session, most people feel so light and calm because you're literally cleaning out the gunk that's inside of your body, inside your energy field. So it's an
Okay.
hour session where we talk and we work through it. So I have some people that actually fall asleep
Okay.
on the phone. I have some people that talk through it the whole time. It's whatever each person wants to do.
Sounds very exciting. Um, yeah, where can people reach you if they want to know more about you? You do more than energy healing. You do speaking gigs as well, right?
Yes.
So,
Yes. My website is magicbydesignhd.com.
mhm.
That is an easy way to get a hold of me, as well as on LinkedIn. I am under Gina Leingang, and also on Instagram. My Instagram handle is at magicbydesign_HD. But yes, I do speaking opportunities. I actually just recently brought human design into the corporate world. So we just did a very interactive human design session with a group of 10 executives where they all got to learn each other's energy and how we can work together from a corporate standpoint together.
Mhm. Yeah.
That's actually really fun. I'm doing that again next month with another team, as well as working one to one of, let's make that impact in your life.
Okay. Well, the where people can find you, they're in the notes as well. Gina, it was absolute delight talking to you. Thank you for sharing your stories. Um, I will be here next week with another guest on another comfort zone, and yeah, I want to thank the viewers for watching, and yeah, have a great day. Thank you, Gina.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you for your time of inviting me in today. I appreciate it.
Okay, thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.